What's going on, GameLeap? It's the Jizz, and in today's upload, we will be breaking to you guys the champions and the item that are going to get buffed and nerfed in the 12.5 micro patch that Riot will be releasing in a week's time. So what this patch is designed for is just to check up on a few champions and things in the game. So I'd love to know your guys' opinion on these changes. Let me know in the comments what you think of these buffs and nerfs, and also while you're down there, make sure you check out the GameLeap website linked in the description and at the top of the comment section, because I challenge your players and coaches from around the world. Upload so many exclusive original videos for your guys' benefit. We're talking champion courses, guides, even high elo VOD analyses where we break down what the best players in the world do that you have to as well to become one of them. So check out those links, and without further ado, let's get into the 12.5B champions who are getting hit and the soul item. So first off, let's start the video off in a good mood. So we're going to talk about the 5 champions who are getting buffed in 12.5B, and lots of you will be happy to know that 4 of the 5 champions getting buffs are AD carries. So that's where we're going to start. So the first AD carry getting buffed in 12.5B, this is Lucian. And for a champion like Lucian who's very popular and also very early game oriented, this is certainly going to spark some interest because Nami is still in a very good position, and this combo, Lucian and Nami with Electrocute, this is one of the scariest bot lane duos you can come up against. So in 12.5B, kind of depends on what the buff is going to be, but this will make this combination stronger and hopefully bring Lucian more into the meta. But we also have to think about this, depending on what the buff is this going to buff solo lane Lucian as well? Because it is a bit of a tightrope the balanced team are walking with Lucian, because if they buff him too much for the solo lane, this means that he'll probably get picked a lot in pro play again, which is really what they don't want, and lots of the champions getting nerfed this patch are because of their pick rate in the pro scene. Now the second AD carry getting buffs in 12.5B, this is Draven, and this champion, who is probably one of the hardest champions in the whole game to master and actually learn, he will be getting some love next week, but this one is kind of hard to actually understand, because Draven, I understand that his win rates, especially in lower elos, it's not that great, but that's because this champion has a high skill ceiling, whereas if you play him in higher elos, this champion, to be honest, is probably just balanced. It's just that the players playing him probably aren't the best. So a Draven buff on here will definitely bring about some commotion, and I'd love to know what you guys think of Draven, who might be the most OP AD carry in lots of people's eyes. Now the third AD carry that the balanced team are thinking of buffing, this is Varus, and Varus has really fallen out of favor in solo queue and is barely picked in pro play anymore because he's just so bad, because the lethality setup isn't really that great anymore. And even though Riot have buffed Varus's on hit to try to persuade you maybe to go like Nash's 2 for Wit's End, Kraken Slayer, something like this, it doesn't work on it. In comparison to the other AD carries, especially those who are meta, he pales in comparison to them, and he tickles the enemy champions at best because he deals no damage. So Varus buff on here definitely makes sense, and I think this one is 100% justified. What do you guys think? Now the final AD carry who's getting buffed, this one, just like the Varus buff, I think we can make sense of, because this is Ashe. And ever since Shield Bow and Wit's End got nerfed, Ashe has really fallen out of favor, because compared to champions like Jinx, Caitlyn, Vayne, these are the ultimate lethal tempo abusers, whereas Ashe, because of her item nerfs and because of the volley nerf, where it's on a longer cooldown in the early game, it makes her laning phase incredibly weaker, and the recent change to her ultimate, which makes it travel slower over a short distance, which is going to happen most of the time, because you'll be using your ultimate in the bot lane against champions who are on your screen rather than on the other side of the map. These changes have definitely hurt Ashe, so I can't wait to see what the buffs are to Freljord's Archer. So those 4 AD carries are receiving buffs in 12.5B, but who's the other champion receiving buffs? And let me tell you, this one is definitely going to ruffle some feathers, because it's Master Yi. And Master Yi, because of the hotfix nerfs that came in to 12.5, they have made Master Yi complete dog water toilet tier. He's so bad now. Like, let me put it this way, in Diamond and above, this champion has a low 40% win rate. This was like 55%, and that was across all elos. Now it's only 49, 50% in lower elos, so something has definitely happened to Master Yi here, and it's not good. The only thing I will say about Master Yi getting buffed is that there are so many champions who are in a state just like Yi, but Riot decided to buff Master Yi straight away, whereas there are lots of champions this happens to, and you have to wait patches, even years, for that champion to get buffed. But don't get me wrong, Master Yi is struggling because of the changes. I would just love to see maybe some other champions on here as well. But what about the 4 champions getting nerfed? Well, funnily enough, this patch is all about AD carries, because 3 of the 4 champions getting nerfed in 12.5B, these are AD carries. So first off, we're going to talk about the standout. best AD carry in the game, and this is Jinx, who is going to receive a bit of fine-tuning in 12.5b, and again we'll have to wait and see what the change actually is. But to be honest, this has been a long time coming, because after Riot nerfed Caitlyn and Vayne, Jinx has really stood out as the best lethal tempo abuser and therefore the best AD carry. Also, if we think about the other AD carries and their items, so Vayne with shield bow, Ashe with shield bow, these champions, because their items have been nerfed, go down in value even more. But Jinx isn't building these items, so will this nerf take Jinx off her pedestal? But there's another champion a bit like Jinx who abuses lethal tempo, and he's getting picked so much in high reload and in pro play. He is pretty broken when you know how to play him, and this is Aphelios. And if you don't know what this champion does, I'd highly recommend you check out our Aphelios guide on YouTube, because it has everything you need to become an Aphelios main and actually understand what his weapons do and how the champion works. But yes, next patch in 12.5b, Aphelios is getting nerfed, because like I said, in the pro scene at the moment, he is pick or ban. If you don't see Aphelios somewhere on your screen in the pick and ban phase, that team is straight up trolling. And it doesn't even matter if it's a lackluster competition like the LCS or a high-end competition like the LCK. This champion has so much value in pro play at the moment, which is why Riot are nerfing him, because hopefully this will bring a bit more diversity into the bot lane pro scene. But the other AD carry getting nerfed, well, she's getting nerfed again, and this is Zeri, who is still performing at a pretty high click despite getting some nerfs that are trying to take her away from the Triforce Titanic Hydra build into a more crit based setup, because who likes to play against an AD carry with 3000 HP at level 13? Not many people, right? So hopefully Riot can find a way of adjusting Zeri so the new crit builds become the best builds and actually make her viable rather than OP. And Zeri mains, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. How fun is it going from patch to patch getting nerfed? But there's one more champion who is getting targeted, guys, for 12.5b for a bit of decrease in power, and just like the others, this champion at the moment is picked and banned in the pro play, and this is Ryze. And one of the reasons Ryze is so giga broken is because of the tank build. So you still go Everfrost and Lucidity boots, but then you want to go Fimbulwinter, because this item with the mana, the HP, and then the shield you get from the actual passive, this is incredibly busted. And after this, you can even consider going Gargoyle Stoneplate and just full tank Ryze, and not only do you have all the tankiness in the world, but you still have damage because you work off mana. You don't need that much ability power to be able to still hit hard. So Ryze is also getting nerfed in 12.5b, and it is a bit of a sad one because in solo queue, especially in lower elos, the blue mage is close to being useless. So hopefully this doesn't make you Ryze mains in lower elos too unhappy. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. But there is one more nerf we have to talk about, but thankfully it's not to any champions. This is to an item, and this is the mythic support item, Locket of the Iron Solari. So if you're going Locket as a tank support, so we're talking Nautilus, Leona, these champions of course will be hit because their major item is getting nerfed, but hopefully this will bring the Evan Shroud mythic into play a bit more, because I can't remember the last time I saw that item. So those were the champions and the item getting targeted for 12.5b. Let me know in the comments if you think there should be some other champions getting buffed or nerfed for next patch, and if you haven't already, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future daily Season 12 content. Until tomorrow's daily upload, this has been Coach Jigs, or the Jizz. Bye.